I've already done a full review on the Toyota Tundra, so we're not going to rehash everything that was there. So this is going to be a quick look at the TRD Pro version of it. This is Toyota's most badass Tundra you can buy. And it's not just the looks. Yes, it's murdered out. It gets rid of all the chrome and all the fluff. It combines work truck with hardcore off-road capability. And does that mean it's going to be a total nightmare on the road? We're going to have to find that out. In the back, some people may argue this because you really only have one option here, this short bed size, in favor of a huge cab. The back seats are bigger than most luxury cars, which is just kind of confounding to me. You have this embossed TRD Pro into the sheet metal, and same thing with the Tundra. You have side exiting exhaust tailpipes from the TRD exhaust in here, which are really understated. They sound great without being obnoxious. There's slight drone for certain people you're gonna pick up on it, but I can't even tell. You have TRD wheels and these kind of all-season tires, which obviously if you're gonna off-road this thing, you're gonna go for full off-road tires. These really aren't good for that, but overall, you know, there is some compromise here in terms of utility, and that's something that people that are looking for this truck are gonna have to decide on their own if it's worth that. Oh. The big negative, there's no running boards. And honestly, it makes sense because you don't need it hurting your ground clearance, but at the same time, it's a pain in the ass for people you're gonna tote around. Yeah, there are grab handles for the passengers, but this is like the Lotus Elise of pickup trucks in terms of getting in and out if you're gonna use it as an everyday vehicle. I think that's one of the biggest complaints I've heard from people getting in and out of it. Aside from that, the interior is just like most of the Tundras, except you have some TRD accents. Like the shift knob no longer looks like an adult toy, or, you know, some of this stitching in here isn't just, you know, boisterous or in your face. This has a work truck interior, and I think most people are gonna connect with that because you don't want fancy materials if you're going mudding in your boyfriend's backyard or just all of that. It's easy to clean up, easy to wipe off. These leather seats, at first sight, you're like, well, these are pretty cheap, but I guarantee you I could throw up, spray mud, any type of body fluid all over them, and I could clean it up in 2 seconds. And that's exactly what you want from a truck interior that's like this. Under the TRD Pro.
That was the Tundra TRD Pro.
Yeah, Tundra TRD Pro, because I guess there's other TRD Pros, like the Taco and what's the other one? I don't know, there's another one.
Probably
anyway,
the Prius.
Yeah, the Prius. So underneath this, and just driving it on the road, we talk about this frequently, or I talk about it frequently. It's amazing what a really good set of dampers does for the ride quality of any vehicle, truck or car. I thought this thing was gonna ride like
a Ford Expedition?
Yeah, right, yeah, or like a U-Haul truck, half loaded. And on the road, it's unbelievably smooth for what it is. And when you put a wheel off the road, you don't even feel it. It's just like you're on regular pavement.
That's where it lives. It wants to do that stuff.
And probably nobody is gonna take this off-road, or 90% of people. Probably like, you know, people that buy sports cars.
Except for the last guy who had it.
Oh my God, this thing. Wait till we show you under the hood. Well, you can kind of see it in the back wheel or tire, spare tire well, but man, somebody was mudding in this thing. And that's exactly what it's designed to do. You have these monstrous Bilstein dampers with external reservoirs. They're three-way. It's just designed for off-road. That's what this is set up for. It's designed for those enthusiasts that want to drive it on the street and just take it off-road. And you look at this skid plate, which I saw that the engineers spent a ton of time with the design to help with approach angle compared to their last one they did. They've designed it for better approach angle. It's 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it's huge. And then what you said you liked is the fact that you can actually get to the drain plug here.
Yeah, because the previous generation, we had to take one of these off, and it had this and then another cover, and it was like a half hour to do the thing. It was a joke.
This should be five minutes. You just have that one cover for your oil filter on the front. This would be ideal. I mean, there's only 3,500 of these. made per year, so it is pretty exclusive. And I think the only negative here is, yeah, you can get a regular Tundra with they're pretty heavily incentivized. They're discounted because they've been out for quite a while. So
this one probably doesn't have a squat.
You can't, yeah, you either can't find them or you have to order it, so you're not getting any rebates or discounts on it, which might be a hard pill to swallow unless you're looking for just the factory off-road Toyota Tundra. V8. It's all you.
iForce V8.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is a 5.7 liter.
Is it Chevy 350 in here?
No, this is a Toyota sourced, direct injected monstrosity. I want this in a car. This is what needs to go into a Corolla.
Corolla, yeah, front wheel drive like a North Star unit?
Yep, exactly.
That'd be real smart.
This is somewhat surprising, but not really surprising. I don't know whose idea it was to put 0W20 in here, and then they use an oil cooler on top of it. So it's got a trans and oil cooler, obviously, so it helps with towing and, you know, if you're beating the snot out of it. But man, 020s, that's got to be crazy to cool that. The battery is about 6,000 pounds just by itself. It's huge.
I think your bummer battery's bigger.
Yeah, I don't know about that. This is pretty big. I love the sound of this motor. It's the best part of it.
It sounds good.
It sounds really good. I know it's big and it's not going to fit into most car platforms, but I would love that. It's got enough torque. It revs out smoothly. It doesn't lose its balls after like 4,000 RPM. It keeps pulling, and that's one of the reasons why it's nice to drive this thing. But other than that, I mean, the key thing here that we kind of talked about with the last Tundra video is nobody's going to argue about the reliability of this. This is one of those few products that you can just buy.
I don't know, man. You better watch out, them Dodge and Chevy boys.
You know what? I don't care. It doesn't matter. This could be handcrafted from God with a Toyota badge on it, and the Chevy boys are going to hate it. It doesn't matter. It is what it is with that. But it looks like there is some mud under here, Scott. What did they do?
It's a good question. I wish I was along for the ride.
My God, it is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get this clean. I don't know how you would ever clean this. It's gotten in every nook and cranny of this engine bay. You would think covering up the bottom would be ideal if you're going to be doing that.
Need to let the heat out.
Nah.
Because heat goes down, not up.
The first thing to note, when you're driving this truck, it feels big, much like the original Tundra review I did. But one of the best parts about it is the turning radius is amazing on here. You would think, oh, well, this is going to be hard to get around. And it almost feels like it has the turning radius of a compact car, but better than a lot of cars. It's one of its best suits. So for aggressive driving, I turn off auto LSD, go in sport mode, and manually shift. Let's take a look through the turns. Oh, this motor is f***ing amazing. %90 of what makes this TRD Pro what it is this engine. I love it. It's the same as it is with the regular Tundra, but with the TRD exhaust, oh, it sounds so good. The traction control and stability control is so aggressive on this car, and you can't disable it. So when you're aggressive driving, forget it. These tires are not about grip. The suspension's not about grip. It's about just cruising and going fast in a straight line. And I'm talking about street driving, obviously. Most people that are going to drive this truck are not going to be going flat out. Oh look, a broken down Mustang. Yeah, I love the motor. Again, this is what sells me on V8s and trucks. There's no fake engine noise, no V6 trying to sound like a V8. It just is good. And the negative part about having a V8 like this, especially if you're driving it like I do, the fuel economy is a joke. I mean, I barely get 13 miles to the gallon with this, and that's on a good day. And the second part is this Tundra has a 38-gallon fuel tank, which, you know, obviously if you're towing and hauling, it's great. But when you hit the pump and you drain this tank dry, oh my God, it gives you this level of sticker shock. I mean, it's not uncommon for trucks, but again, it's just one of those things when you're driving a big vehicle like this. You know, because the car weighs so much, or this truck weighs so much, the brakes never feel like they're totally up to task. But, you know, again, you just have to prepare yourself for the turns a little bit more than you would on a lighter car. But I would definitely, this is definitely the best truck I've been in this year by a long stretch. Now I just wish there was some magic button to make it handle like a sports car in the turns. And this would be, this would be the ideal trucking experience. So let's not kid ourselves, okay? That nobody's ever gonna drive this Tundra flat out through the turns. I get it, it's not what it's about, but it just highlights just how well the TRD Pro suspension's dampened. The way that it can actually perform pretty well on the street and be able to go completely off-road is something that's kind of hard to do when you're setting up a suspension. And I really enjoy the fact that this has a good ride all the time. Doesn't matter, bad pavement, good pavement, it performs at a high level. Now, some of the negative parts are, you know, obviously the steering's a little sloppy. It's not excessively sloppy, but it doesn't feel as firm as some of the GMs that I've been in recently. Now, the transmission's not one of the fastest to respond. It's not the quickest transmission I've been in on a truck, but it really doesn't have to be because it's extremely smooth. And the biggest thing with the Tundra overall in terms of, well, if you want to buy a truck, you're not going to hear too many people argue about reliability, and that's a huge benefit here. One of the things that really surprises me about specifically sports car owners is there's so many people I meet that buy these kind of higher end sports cars that have such high levels of capability on a track, and they never take it there. They're not confident for whatever reason. They hard park their cars. Well, the truck scene can be very similar. You get guys that buy these hardcore off-road capable trucks and never take it off-road. And I think a lot of it for many people is the ability that they buy the truck or car because they know that it has the capability to go off-road or track the car. And that's exactly what the TRD Pro offers, is at least you know that if you wanted to, you could. And that's a big selling point.
We should do a pulling contest.
What do you want to pull?
Tug of war?
We can do that without the cars. I have my tank top. You want to pull on that?